Today we will be installing the Werks V2 exhaust on my 986 Boxster. I opted for the kit with the C-pipes. Not a fan of these tips, but it's all that they had in stock, so I might end up sanding these down to get a consistent chrome finish. On the car already, I have the Werks secondary cat delete pipes. They didn't really add much sound, so I went ahead and did what I think the internet's calling the Krios mod, which if you can see in here, I drilled 2 holes through the exhaust there. And that allows exhaust to bypass some of the muffler baffling and come straight out. That made a pretty big difference in sound, but it doesn't sound that great. It's kind of sounds like an exhaust leak, sort of what you would expect by doing a mod like that. So I'm hoping with this exhaust we can get a much better sound. Unfortunately, one of the first steps we have to do is to remove the rear bumper. To do that, you pop the trunk and you have to raise the spoiler. To raise the spoiler, you press the button down here. The wing top is held on by clips. So it sits as these clips that hook into the back, and then the front clips push in the front. So you pull it back and pop it up. Unfortunately, I broke one of the clips, but it should still hang on with that. We're trying to get access to these 2 bolts here. We'll take these 2 bolts out, be able to lift the wing out of place. The wing is now off the car. Of course, one of these bolts stripped out. I had to cut a groove into it to get it out. Now we're able to take these Phillips head screws out of the top of the bumper. Next, we can go under these things and loosen the Allen bolt on both sides. It helps to have a long hex like this one to avoid scratching your bumper. Now we can remove these screws on both sides of the bumper. Then 2 more screws underneath the bumper on each side. Then you can pop the bumper out around this lip that it sits on, and then we'll be able to position it off and disconnect any electrical connections. Next, we'll need to remove this crash bar. You take out the 2 bolts on top. I already took this one out. This is to get the heat shield out of the way and access the top bolts on the exhaust. Okay, first step will be to loosen these clamps on both sides. Second step will be to remove the support for this muffler. So it bolts here and to the muffler here. So we'll start by taking off these bolts and see what happens. Next, we can remove these 4 bolts. And since we have the muffler disconnected from earlier, the whole muffler should be able to drop after that. All right, we got this monster removed. It's very heavy. So now we're able to install the new system. Look at the size difference between these 2. All right, one last step before we're able to install the new system. We have to remove this bracket as the new system bolts mount up to this spot here. All right, we have the new exhaust installed, all of the clamps tightened up. Leave these top ones loose while you're getting the C clamps in on both sides. You'll need that free play to wiggle them into place. All right, so all tightened up. Now we can start it and see how it sounds. Before you put everything back on, remember to start the car and check all the connections for leaks. Now we can put the crash bar back on, then the bumper. Okay, everything's back together. The tips are on. Everything's bolted up. So now it's time for the first test drive. unfortunately, that's all the exhaust clips I have at the moment. The GoPro I was using, I didn't have a mic on it, and the audio didn't turn out that great. The mic arrived, but while I was waiting for the mic, I decided to try to fix the oil issues on the 986. I thought the issue was the oil fill tube, so I bought a new one of these, but after taking the throttle body off, I'm pretty sure that it's the air oil separator that's causing my oil leak, what looks like oil leaks. So let me show you what I got going on in here and what makes me think it's the air oil separator. So I'm going to come around to the side of the car here and show you inside of the plenum how much oil we have in there. Trying to get the light, and look at that pool of oil in there. You can see everything's caked in oil. This tube's caked in oil. So having oil in your intake plenum is a clear sign that the air oil separator is failing. So I have a new one of those on order. It should be here in a couple days. Once that arrives and I get this all back together, I'll take more shots for you guys. I'll do some drive-by clips, some revs, and some more shots from within the car. That's all for this video. Thanks for watching.